Hey guys, today I'm doing like a little demonstration or whatever, really just to check something out myself that I'm curious about. Ferro rods, knife edges. You know, we're all supposed to have a rounded, a squared off spine on our knife, on our survival knife at any rate, or outdoor knife, to be able to strike a ferro rod. Let's just see what kind of damage it actually does when you use the edge. What I'll be doing is I've got three different types of steel, like the three different types really. So I've got tool steel, so D2. This is softer D2, but it's D2. It's the D2 I was happy with possibly ruining. I've got O1, which is a Tyndall Knives O1, which is very well treated, and I've got no doubt I'll be able to patch this up just fine if it does roll it a little bit. And then I've got the trusty old 420HC and the Gerber Strong Arm. So what I've done is I have marked out on them, I've done some lines which perhaps I'll try and strike within, but then the magnifying glass I'm using is like a children's one that's quite large, so I'm not sure if I can get it right up to the edge. At any rate, I'll show before and after I've done my ferro rod strikes. Probably do about 5 or 6 ferro rod strikes all up the blade at various points, and we'll just see what if it absolutely ruins them or if it just is something that you need to polish out. So should be interesting, maybe. Let's get to it. All of these have, a 23-degree edge on them, so a 23-degree edge on each side, so 46 degrees inclusive for like probably what you'd find on an outdoor knife, usually between 23 and 27. Alright, should be fun. Alrighty, so I am very, very sorry about the production quality here. It's very tricky to maneuver this clumsy children's microscope thing. I just want to show you the edges as best as I can. They're pretty straight, like it's about as good as a knife that's seen a bit of use. I haven't just taken these fresh off the wheel, so this one's the Viper, just more or less showing you that it's not got any huge caverns cut out of it. More or less a straight sort of horizonish style line. So that way when I perhaps show you the shots afterwards, there's a bit of differentiation. So yeah, this is the Viper, not too crooked or dodgy. That's that one there. Next we'll move on to the Gerber Strong Arm. There. Show you the Strong Arm's edge. Again, pretty straight. A couple little wires from where I haven't quite knocked the bear all the way off. There we go. Sorry, it's really hard to steer. It was, and also having to record my screen. I've got no way of AV outing. And this is the Tyndall. Pretty straight, nice edge there. Just goes on and on. No worries at all. So that one is the bit of text that I've drawn on it because it's got a choil that I can push the camera all the way back to. So there we go. So anyway, what I'll show now is me striking them with the ferro rod, and then I'll go back to this same sort of view. I'll try a bit better next time with the camera, just to show you the actual damage. So this is the Viper Keeper striking the Firesteel. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the damage done. So this is the Viper Keeper. Along there, sorry again, slippery hands. I will get a cascading view. So that's the edge. You can see it's, not terrible. It's got some definite kind of little knocks out of it back there. Another like 2 or 3 knocks there. Just, yeah, must have done a few in a row just there. So yeah, it's done a little bit of damage. But, it hasn't taken out like a whole, cavernous... Remember, this is like millimeters of steel here. So this entire bright line that's on the screen is maybe like 1.5 millimeters, or, if that. So it isn't a huge amount. And these knives would still this knife here would certainly still slice wood. Alright, yeah, paper it'd hang up like crazy, no doubt, but it'd still cut like your food and wood, just, you know, pretty reasonably. So there you go, just slow cascading. So this is where there was less hits. I reckon that's probably one just back there, and probably getting towards just the front belly of the knife now, where there wasn't any. And any damage here is just from incidental use, and you see a little bit of rust. Rust discoloration there building up. I think there's a couple of burrs there that have gone rusty, hanging out in the breeze, so to speak. So you know what, overall this one isn't too, it's not too terrible. It's probably worse than you'd like, but you know, I guess this was a softer steel as well. Remember when I did the edge testing on this steel, it only got about 70 or so cuts, so softer than you would expect from D2, which is probably going to mean that these are easier to fix, but probably not as easy. You know, probably not as resistant to it happening in the first place, perhaps. So yeah, I'll just try and pan back and just give you a bit more of a complete picture. As I said, you know, this looks, you know, it looks really rough, but to the naked eye you can't really see much of this. This is just super up close. And yeah, that's pretty much a bit of untouched edge there, a little bit of there, and then back to, you know, more just general wear use there. So there you go. Alrighty, let's have a look at the strong arm now. Get that on there. So that's, well, as you can see, that's a very nice straight, clean edge on the strong arm. That's the texture there that I'd drawn a line, and that line was like as thin as like a thin Sharpie. So it goes to show you the magnification we're looking at here. And as you see, we're not too badly damaged at all. Actually, that's looking pretty good. And I think I did just the same, if not a couple more strikes on the strong arm. So that's a bit of burr, or actually there might be a bit of like wax or something from inside the sheath, I don't know. But yeah, there we go, that's not too bad at all. I guess that's a little knock there, 2 in a row there, 3. Well, that's a big burnt, like that's just all the shit from the ferro rod, still haven't been wiped off. And oh, you know what, this is actually looking pretty decent, considering this is 420 HC that's just been struck pretty hard with a ferro rod, especially when you see that there. Yeah, not too bad. That's like ideal edge there, and even the little knocks are very, very small knocks indeed. So, I mean, obviously it's not great. You wouldn't know knife coming from the factory like this, but there you go. Let's see what Tyndall's knife does. Strike the same edge. So that's like the end of the choil there. That's the first bit of texture. Going along, I did strike it somewhere in between here with a rod. It must be there. Yeah, slight little roll there. I did a couple of strikes on that spot, and then that's the other bit of texture. A little bit there, maybe. Yeah, a little bit there. Maybe there. Yeah, maybe, or just it's hard to tell what isn't just standard edge stuff. That's a little bit of a scallop kind of. Geez, this is easily the best of the 3. Yeah, that's probably the worst one just there. That is, yeah. That'd be like a couple of strikes in a row. Oops, sorry about the camera work. This thing sucks to maneuver. There you go. What do you reckon? That's not too bad at all. I think that's the best out of the 3. A little bit of burr there. Nice. That's fairly decent. Alright, so my verdict. Yeah, it's probably still not the best thing to do, but the results weren't as catastrophic as sort of it's made out for them to be. Like in an emergency, if you really needed to start a fire, you're not going to ruin your entire knife just by picking a spot and using it to strike. That Viper D2 still really isn't very good though. That was the one that sustained the most damage, like more than the 420 HC from Gerber. And remember, all these angles were the same. So all the geometries were, I mean, they were 23 to 24 degrees, as specific as I could be with the Tormex angle finder. All less than 25, I was sure, because I looked at a little notch. So yeah, 23 to 24 degrees. And that, yeah, the Viper Keeper's D2 still probably held up the worst. Then Gerber's did pretty good, really. And then that Tyndall treatment had a couple of knocks in it, but very small, and really that's magnified. In reality, if you're just using them for cutting wood and stuff like that, like your outdoor tasks, you're really not going to notice too much difference. Yeah, on paper, those will be snags for sure, like if you're doing your standing held paper slicing, but really, it's not the end of the world to use your edge, I don't think anyway, at least not on those 3 knives. You should still have perfectly serviceable knives if you had to. If you made it your only and your primary method of striking a Firesteel, yeah, you'd probably end up with an extra finger choil in your blades if you kept doing it over and over again. But I don't know, just interesting to see. It's made out to be a real killer, but I don't think it's a killer. I think it's not ideal, but it's definitely doable, and definitely not the end of your knife if you do so. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.